song's one I wrote a long time ago. This is about an old blues man that I used to know. And his name was Willie Guy Rainey. I met him back in the early 70s. He was an old blues man down in Georgia. And I was 21 at the time. He was 75. He was playing the old style blues. And he was just a great guy. We did some little festivals together, some coffee houses, some different events. And he showed me a lot about the old style. There was one time we did a gig somewhere, and he lived way down in South Fulton County, way down below Atlanta. It was all farmland at one time. It's all subdivisions now. But he had the tallest corn down there in South Fulton County. And one night after a gig, we went back to his house. I was going to spend the night. And about 1 o'clock in the morning, we went out to the cornfield and got a bunch of corn, brought it back in, and knocked it out. And it was better than going to the Waffle House. It was all right. So I spent the night that night, and early that morning, Willie came, about 6 o'clock in the morning, Willie came traipsing through the house with 2 big buckets of water. He did everything the old style way. He heated his house with wood. He brought the water up in buckets. He had a pair of knee boots on. He's traipsing through the house. And so a little later on, I got up and I was drinking a cup of coffee, and I walked outside. It was a beautiful day, and I walked into this big tree. And all of a sudden, this tree started shaking, and the leaves were coming out, and feathers were coming out of it. And I looked up, and it was like full of chickens from the bottom to the top of chickens. And I'd seen chickens before, but I had never seen them in a tree like that. And I asked Willie, I said, Willie, what are you doing with these chickens? Are you raising them? Are you cooking them? What are you going to do? He says, no, they're too old. They're too old. So what Willie had here was a retirement home for chickens. And I didn't get to see him in the last days of his life, and so I wrote this song. It's called I Never Got to Say Goodbye to Willie Guy. In the summer of '74, he was an old black man from a little town in Georgia. He didn't know how to read or write. He was the kind of soul that'd always treat you right. And Willie died, never got to say goodbye. Sit and listen to Willie tell me of his life while we played our guitars, sitting out on his porch. Play the blues and laugh and sing, time would just fly by. Never had a friend that I loved more. I never got to say goodbye to Willie Guy, though at least I told him he was a good friend of mine. And I know he found his reward way up in the sky, though I never got to say goodbye to Willie Guy. Willie Guy had a good long life, 82 years on earth. When he gave me advice, I can't tell you what it was worth. And even though he was up in years, he was 21 at heart. His humble life to me has left a great mark. In the local news, it said a man was gone that sang the blues. Right then and there, tears came to my eyes, 'cause he never got to say goodbye to Willie Guy. least I told him he was a good friend of mine. And I know he found his reward way up in the sky, though I never got to say goodbye to Willie Guy. Though I never got to say goodbye, never did say goodbye, never got to say goodbye to Willie Guy.